I was there. Up every few hours, feeding, rocking, changing diapers, barely staying awake during the day, coffee after coffee, full on zombie mode. Then I found out about sleep training and I was finally getting them sweet Z's again. Grab a cup of coffee and let's chat about whether or not you should sleep train your baby. And let's also talk about some actions you can take tonight so you can get more sleep. Hello, my lovely friend. It's your girl, Chrystal. So like you, I started Googling, I need to sleep again. Just kidding, but like baby sleep, getting baby to sleep, how to get baby to sleep. And I eventually stumbled upon sleep training.
Sleep training is just helping your little one learn the skills to fall asleep on their own.
Oh yeah, that's Haley. She's a sleep consultant, owner of Little Sleepers and Dreamers Consulting, and is a mom of two.
Kind of like potty training where you're training them to use the toilet independently. Sleep training is just helping them connect their sleep cycles so that they can fall asleep independently.
I thought this conversation needed some expert advice. I'm a mom of one and only know so much, especially when it comes to sleep training. And Haley's helped over a dozen families regain sleep. I got to asking her the hardest question because you might have noticed some negative things about sleep training, like it's, leaving your kid in their crib to cry themselves to sleep.
There are various methods for sleep training. And somewhere along the line, people have connected cry it out with sleep training interchangeably. And that is not the case. So cry it out is a method, it's a way to sleep train. And while that can work with some, I personally feel like it is way too harsh. The smaller the child, they are going to need more reassurance. They are going to need more support and help.
It's also important to note that your baby has to reach a certain age before they're even expected to sleep through the night.
You can't sleep train your child until they are either 12 pounds or 16 weeks from their due date. Now, at 4 months, you shouldn't have the expectation for your child to sleep through the night. So 4 months, they should be having 1 or 2 night feedings. So that's still okay. 5 months, maybe down to 1 night feeding. And then by 6 months, as long as the pediatrician approves, you can have your child start sleeping through the night.
My son was about 4 months old and like well over 12 pounds when we started sleep training. And no way did we try cry it out. Like I physically couldn't. I had to hold myself back from jumping up to every sound. Also, did you know that babies have active sleep? More on that in a minute. So for me, sleep training really kind of boiled down to establishing a bedtime routine and staying consistent.
It's so important to them. They need that predictability. They need to know what's going to happen. And that helps the child prepare and get ready for sleep.
So we're changing into PJs, brushing teeth, washing face, or taking a bath. I didn't do it every single night because my son had really dry skin. Then it was story time and then right into bed. So I had a similar routine for naps, but that's not really where you want to get started.
You always want to start sleep training at bedtime when children are most tired. You don't want to start the beginning of the day and be like, okay, nap 1, here we go with this brand new change. You want to start at bedtime. And then if you're going to do naps right away, you'll start the next day.
Oh my gosh. Now, one thing my husband and I relied on to get my son to fall asleep was music. But
when your child is sleeping, you want the sound to be constant. So if you have music on where the soundtracks start and stop, can cause wake ups. Even if they aren't fully waking up, it's causing that break in their sleep.
I definitely noticed when the music got too loud, he would start to stir, or if it changed songs or something like that, it would kind of wake him up a little bit. It wasn't until we incorporated a sound machine with some rain in the background did we notice a significant drops in those stirrings.
I am a huge fan of white noise. So for the little babies, it's great because it mimics the sound in the womb. The sounds in the womb are as loud as a vacuum cleaner. This baby comes into the world and then you put them in a silent room, they're going to be like, what's going on? I can't sleep. Older ones, it's really good to block out any excess noise. I would caution about having any white noise that does shut off because it could lead to wake ups.
So besides having a consistent routine and possibly incorporating a sound machine, Haley says the biggest thing you need to worry about is light.
But the number one thing, especially if you're struggling with early morning wakings, is making sure the room is dark enough. Now, a lot of parents have heard darken the room. They get those blackout curtains. but it's not dark enough. Like it needs to be pitch black. You should be able to hold up your hand in front of your face and not be able to see it in the middle of the day. Because what happens is when your child is sleeping, the light, whether it's pouring in through the cracks in the door, under the door, or, if the curtains have, the edging around, it goes into your child's closed eyelids and signals to the brain to stop making melatonin. When your body's not making melatonin, you're not going to be sleepy. Keeping that room completely dark is the biggest thing that once I fix that with clients, they're like, oh, wow, now my kid's sleeping so much better.
Now, here's something that I did not know when my son was a little bean. Babies are active when they're sleeping.
So when your child is in their crib and they wake up, whether it's in the middle of the night or in early morning, and you hear them, give some wait time, because babies, especially the newborns, are very noisy sleepers. If you give them, if they're crying their heads off, obviously go to them. But if you can wait a good 5 minutes, oftentimes they fall back to sleep and they weren't even really awake. They were just kind of rooching and making noises. And so if parents quickly hear them and go to them, the parents are actually the ones waking them up.
Yeah, totally. I was responsible for waking up a few times. Yeah, sorry, little dude. Okay, so I stayed consistent. I stuck to a bedtime and a nap time routine. And within a few weeks, my little dude was sleeping through the night.
It typically takes 2 to 3 weeks. It depends on a couple different factors. One is the age of the child. So babies tend to take a lot quicker. It happens a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. And then the older toddlers, the preschoolers, they're kind of set in their ways. They kind of understand how things work, how to get mom and dad to do what they want. So that tends to be a little longer, more to the 3 weeks.
Oh man, do we have trouble getting our little one down now to go to bed? But Haley's got a good tip for this.
Giving them a timer and make the child be in charge of it. And then by putting them in charge of it, gives them the responsibility of like, this is my clock. I need to, be handling it. Like, for example, I say bath time should only be 7 to 8 minutes. It should be in, wash, maybe a minute or two of play and out. We want that warm water, but we don't want that 20, 30 minutes of playing, because the point of a bath at night is to signal and prepare the body for bed. If you're playing for 20, 30 minutes, you're going to give your child that second wind, and then they're not going to want to go to bed. When that timer goes off, instead of, Billy, get out of the tub. Come on, it's time to get your pajamas on. Get out of the tub. The timer goes off. Billy, is that your timer ringing? Like what needs to happen? Oh, that means I need to get out of the tub. And it puts less of that power struggle on the parent and child and more on the child being responsible for that timer.
My son is now 3, and one thing I have to really pay attention to is his energy levels. And I have to always make sure that he is doing some sort of energy burn at least like 3 times a day.
So we don't want children to be overtired or undertired. So undertired children, makes sense. They can't sleep because they aren't sleepy. And then with overtired children, they make the hormones cortisol and adrenaline, and that actually keeps them from falling asleep and staying asleep. So even if an overtired child gets into bed and falls right to sleep, they're most likely going to have those wake ups. We want to make sure that we find that sweet spot by keeping them on a schedule with their wake windows, knowing when they should be going to sleep and waking up each day.
Obviously, sleep training a baby, a toddler, and a preschooler are very different. And Haley says the sooner you start, the better.
Between 4 and 6 months, if you're not getting those great stretches of sleep and nap times, which oftentimes nap times are a little harder. If nap times are a mess, then I would suggest doing it sooner than later before you create these bad habits, because the older your child is, the longer it's going to take to kind of undo everything.
And here is the best part about sleep training.
I know a lot of clients love that they're able to go out on date nights. They can leave their child with a friend, a sitter, and they're like, you can go to bed and I know that they'll be sleeping and I can go out and have fun. So many parents are like, oh, bedtime is 2 or 3 hours. I can't leave the house at all. And they feel trapped. So getting that solved is just so freeing.
Now, if you try some of the things that we talked about today and you're still having trouble getting your little one to sleep, don't worry. Haley is here to help. You can schedule a free call with her. And if you end up signing up for using her services and having her help you develop a solid routine for your little one, you can get up to 10% off of her services using the code Chrystal10. Links are below down in the description box. Now I know it seems like that you are never going to sleep again, but you will, I promise. You've got this, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.